Hi, for the SDN cast, we're here at Future Tech, and I'm here with Steven. And Steven, for the people who don't know you yet, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Steven Heck. I'm a principal cloud architect at Badabit. And Badabit is a company in the Netherlands. We have about 100 employees, 4 offices, and we try to help our customers with solutions in .NET and Azure specifically. That's what we do, and that's what I do.
That's very cool. And what is your 100 people at the company? What is it? Is that all junior? Is that a lot of seniors?
So it's quite a mix. We have a few principal cloud architects like me, and what we basically do is when we have new customers or customers that have a question, we're at the trenches, so we go first and we see what's the problem, how can we help. It differs from a small session where we say, oh, maybe you have to look at this or you have to work that way. But it could also be that they have a larger problem, larger issue, or a hands-on experience needed. And then we can see if we want to have one or more consultants at the firm that can help them out. But we also do training, so Microsoft certified training, but also our own security training, which I also give myself, especially with my last name.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah,
yes.
That works.
So that's quite always nice to do. So that's how we try to help our customer as much as possible on all kinds of fronts.
That's very cool. And what sort of customers do you work for?
So basically all kind of customers. A lot of customers in the IT, in the health insurance, healthcare, but also transport. And we don't really have a focus on that area. We just try to see where we can help and how we can help. Of course, our focus is .NET and Azure, so that kind of limits a lot of potential customers, but we try to help as much as possible.
Yeah, or those customers don't just know just yet to use C# and Azure.
No. Of course, C# and .NET mostly yes, but we had a lot of customers that said, okay, we hear a lot of people speak about Azure. What is it, and should we do it? And that's, in my opinion, those are the customers that are very interesting.
Yeah,
because they're very new on Azure, and you can really get them along with what Azure is and how it can help them. And one of the things when they start the meeting, they always think, okay, we're going to the cloud because it's cheaper. And I always tell them, the first year in Azure, in cloud, is probably not cheaper. You got to be careful with that.
Also in the long run, for a lot of clients, it is not.
No,
it's not cheaper. It's just lifting and shifting.
Exactly, especially if you're going for a lift and shift approach, the hardware you can buy yourself, it's always cheaper, but you get a lot of more price, you get a lot of more feature for the price, because a lot of customers these days going abroad, and if you want to serve those customers abroad, you can do that very easily with Azure. If you had to do that yourself with a data center, you had to find a partner, you buy in hardware. That's a lot tougher to do. It takes more effort.
And it's almost easier now than deploying something somewhere else than in West Europe, because West Europe now feels full to me.
Yeah, it's very full. I don't think you can even create an app service just.
Oh, is it that bad?
Yeah, so it's very bad. I know Microsoft is actively approaching companies like us to help find solutions to minimize that impact. Of course, in Europe we have a lot of other solutions, and of course what you always saw, that primary was West Europe and secondary was North Europe, so North Europe is getting that lot of load because they're a secondary, but you see they're trying to switch that up, so there's also a lot of options in Sweden and Germany, and those options are cheaper, and for a lot of customers you don't really notice the latency, so if you can save money on that, we strongly advise to take a look at that.
And if you want good AI stuff, then you have to go to Sweden anyway.
Yeah,
so
that's also true.
But you told you had healthcare customers, so then data protection and security is a big thing, right, for your customers?
That's a very big thing, and that's primarily the reason why everyone just really wants to stay in West Europe because that's the easiest part. But together with Microsoft, we're always looking at how they can provide those same guarantees across in data centers, for example, Germany. And I think I saw in the news yesterday that they're also heavily going to invest in Belgium for a few data centers.
They're already building those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another option for them to create a more alternative for the West Europe region.
I love Microsoft. I think they let the Belgian government pay for those data centers.
Yeah, they're very smart on that.
It's very smart. Yeah, it's a good company to work in its domain. So
yes.
And if you're working with Azure for a lot of customers, deploying all this code, what do you use for infrastructure as code? You must, as Batabit, have some go-to solution.
So we try to look at what the customer is already using. So we see a lot of customers that are using Azure DevOps already, and so they use the Azure repos and the Azure environment. So we tend to direct them to the bicep files that Microsoft provides. A few customers use alternative solutions, and of course, we're not the type of company that says no, you should do this if they're already doing that. So we try to look at what they already have, and of course also where the knowledge is, because something what I think is very important is you cannot just say you gotta use this, because there has to be knowledge, and we're consultants, so there comes a time where we leave because we can be very expensive, and then they have to be able to work with it without us, or at least without our supervision.
Oh, that's actually in consultancy. That's a very good approach, right?
Yeah, there are a few consultancy companies that try to go the other way around, because then they have a foothold and a long-term relationship, they call it. But personally, we think if you provide value for the business, you have that long-term relationship, and you don't need to introduce a foothold or a vendor lock-in or whatsoever.
I think it's a very healthy approach, because indeed you have some companies that have this amazing libraries, but then you're tied to that company forever.
Yeah, and then they come with support options and contracts and whatsoever. That's not really. It's also not approach. Microsoft, of course, in the past may have the approach depending on who you're asking, but also at Microsoft you see that they're really going to that open source community and the community-driven development. So we try to stick with that as much as possible.
I think Microsoft is now the second. They used to be the biggest open source contributor. They're now, I think, the second after Google. It's amazing how this company has changed in the past years.
It's a very, especially if you look here at FutureCheck at the sessions. I just had a talk. I saw a talk about Radius and how they very early on already decided from, okay, we're going to make this open source, we're going to make this community driven and cloud agnostic, so you can also use AWS or Google Cloud if you want to, because we think this product is just awesome and you should use it. So
that's beautiful.
It's very, very nice to see.
And you're now here at FutureTech with Batabit. You have an amazing stand.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people here probably. What are you doing for knowledge sharing on top of that? Because you also have an amazing podcast. Yeah,
so we have a few different ways to share knowledge. First of all, we try to do an internal knowledge. We call it our academy. So we have a lot of trainers and speakers that of colleagues that want to speak, but they want to try that out in a safe environment. So we have an internal academy where they can think of subjects and can present them to their colleagues. And if that goes well, then they can take the next step if they want to. So we also provide the trainings, but also at certain conferences we provide speaker sessions. And of course, for our new colleagues that just come out of school, we have our Azure Talent program. So that's what we see is that a lot of students are very brilliant, very smart, because they're already busy with programming when they're 12-year-old, much earlier than I was back in the day. But certain things like Azure and enterprise techniques, they didn't really got used to that. So we have this special Azure Talent program where we try to focus on that part, so they can provide value for our customers when they're ready.
And it's very valuable.
Yeah.
For BetaBit as well as for those.
And it's also very fun because I try to pick a few of those sessions with, like attending them or teaching them, and you see that they are very eager and they have fresh insights and they're very enthusiastic. So it gives a lot of energy. So it works. It works both ways.
I think it's beautiful if you see those flicker in those eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why we're doing this. Oh, this is cool. Yeah.
Yes, it's very amazing.
Oh, that's very good. It was very good to learn about BetaBit and about you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And hope to talk soon.
Yes, thank you very much.